Morning, Steve Free in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Well, it's that time in which USDA puts out numbers, and we'll be a lot smarter at 11 o'clock than we are now as far as trade direction. I think a lot of people, first of all, are looking at the corn yield and corn production number and whether that brings the carryout down, and does the market work higher because of that. The funds are already long about 40,000 corn contracts. Do they add to that position? We could also probably get into some farmers selling above the 3 area on the D's corn. So we'll just kind of see how all that unfolds. As far as the beans are concerned, I think that the big thing is what do they do with the Chinese data? There was data from the US Ag Attaché showing lower imports. Do they lower the imports? Do they raise the world carryout? Do they lower US bean exports? Do they raise the US carryout? Or do they lower the U.S. crop because of the rains during harvest? And what does all that mean with the funds short about 50,000 contracts of beans? Again, the market would expect corn to close higher, beans to close lower today. In the wheat market, a lot of numbers. I mean, some people think the USDA is too high on exports out of Europe, maybe too high on exports out of Australia, maybe too high in Canada exports, but will they make those changes this early in the game? And what if down the road Russia doesn't export as much? The Russians came out and said they're fully confident that they will export the wheat numbers that the USDA is suggesting. Some people think it might even be lower. So see if the wheat market can sustain any momentum on the upside because of lower trade versus the talk that next year we could actually have a bigger wheat crop. Export sales, we expect somewhere around maybe 400,000 tons of wheat versus 580 last week. Maybe 700,000 tons of corn versus only 394 last week. And certainly when you talk to cash traders, they're saying that the export sales numbers have slowed because of competition from Ukraine and Brazil. We also look for beans to be around maybe 400,000 tons versus 396 last week. And again, not expecting any sales to China. And just how much does the other buyers of the world buy U.S. cheaper beans versus Brazil? Midwest weather, we got some snows coming around the next 24 hours. Things look cooler and drier next week. South America, Brazil is going to get some off and on showers. Conditions there are good. Argentina early next week, you could see a strong system with rains falling over most of the area. As far as the other news, again, we're watching to see just the market reaction after the USDA report, and then whatever goes on in Washington. There's already calls to try to get a farm bill done. There's already calls because wheat farmers especially need to know what to do as far as planting, and farmers in general need to know what to do next year as far as planting is concerned. And just what's going to happen to the trade deal with U.S. and China, and what's going to happen to some of the other things that are on the list of the new controlled Democratic House. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM and ADM Investor Services, and have a safe and profitable trading day.